And U.S. Ambassador to Germany Richard Grenell is welcoming a resurgence of practical conservatism all across Europe. One America's Kristian Rouz has more.
Left-wing policymakers both in the US and Germany are fueling a diplomatic rift between the two countries over the recent remarks of US Ambassador Richard Grenell. The envoy, who is a close ally of President Trump, is under fire over his intent to empower European right-wing parties, as well as his allegedly insensitive remarks on the migrant crisis, leftist politics, and the decline of Western values in Germany.
We must only not allow ourselves to be divided and speak with a single voice in responding to Donald Trump, autocrats in Ankara and Moscow, and Donald Trump as well. All love the game of divide and rule.
In his recent big interview with Breitbart London, Ambassador Grenell pointed to resurgence of European conservatism and his full support for these right-wing movements. However, the left rushed to condemn Grenell over what they saw as his meddling with European politics, an allegation Grenell swiftly rebuked. Some Democrats in the US suggested Grenell should be expelled and replaced as his remarks hurt US-German relations, yet Grenell's remarks fell in line with the views of Germany's third largest party, Alternative for Germany.
Now we are present in almost all regional parliaments and in the Bundestag. Bavaria and Hessen will follow. We are here to stay, and in order to change the society, we are also here and we want to counter this multicultural madness.
Grenell also addressed political activities of globalist billionaire George Soros across the European continent. The ambassador said Soros' left-wing agenda of mass migration, creeping Islamization of Europe, and the dominance of EU institutions over national governments are all failed policies which benefit the leftist elites rather than the broader citizenry. This also contributed to the leftist meltdown on both sides of the Atlantic.
We are now facing the termination of the nuclear arms treaty with Iran and the destruction of the transatlantic alliance. This is bound to have a negative effect on the European and particularly on the German economy.
Mr. Grenell feels perfectly comfortable tweeting out emails stolen by Russian intelligence to interfere in our democratic process. Basically, in essence, as Mike Pompeo describes, doing the work of Russian intelligence.
Ambassador Grenell also pointed out mass migration and chain migration are posing a national security threat to both Germany and the US. He said these processes are bringing Islamic family values into the Western culture and effectively prevent migrant integration into a host society. Additionally, Grenell's remarks were indirectly endorsed by Israel, a country on the forefront of mass migration crisis, as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Grenell during his recent visit to Germany.
I was asked by the American ambassador here to meet him at the airport. I'm going to meet him briefly at the airport.
Contrary to the left's claims, recent developments in Europe suggest Grenell's remarks will actually improve the ties between the US and Europe, which is turning conservative amid the Brexit process, along with a series of victories of right-wing populist parties in Italy, Slovenia, Poland, Austria and Hungary. For example, Grenell called Austrian Prime Minister Sebastian Kurz a rock star, as his policies are aimed at taking the political power from the globalist elites and returning it back to the people of his country, highly reminiscent of President Trump's agenda.
We need a tighter cooperation on a European level. We must protect our borders. The European Union without internal borders will only work if there are secure borders on the exterior.
While Grenell's remarks might have laid a solid foundation for a longer-term improvement of the transatlantic relations, German citizens are increasingly dissatisfied with Chancellor Angela Merkel's policies of mass migration, high taxes, and dangerous multiculturalism. Kristian, Rouz, One American News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.